2, 1. And hello, everybody. This is Albert Corey, Taxman, part of the Profit Activation System. Today, I got an awesome guest, Miss Julia. Guess what? Julia's a known person to say, my thing is, you're just one event away on taking your business to the next level. By the way, if you hear background noise, this is a real tax office, moving parts, lots of sound. So Julia will give you the digital footprint to take you to the next level. As I was saying earlier, you're just one event away. Why is this? Just a week ago, we met at an event and they said, anybody wants to switch information? And next thing you know. So now in just a week, we're at each other's podcast and doing it. So bottom line is you need to get a digital footprint out there and you need to go to your events. Now, how was that introduction, Ms. Julia? Take it away. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Albert. My pleasure to be with your audience today and share some secrets on how digital footprint or digital public relations can take your business to the next level. And I specifically concentrate on helping people make a greater impact with their business. I know everybody's in their business for a reason, whether it's selling products or services. It's because we believe in them and we believe that they will make somebody else's life better. That's why we're in business. So by multiplying your impact, you're helping more people, you're making the world a better place.
That's pretty cool. Here's a question I always ask people. How did you get into this? I mean, how did you get into the digital footprint land?
You know what? This actually came out organically. I was already having my podcast, was working with my guests, and a lot of them expressed interest in networking with each other and maybe exchanging referrals. So we were having these sessions. I had like this beta chapter of beautiful coaches in different fields, like some of them were health coaches, some business coaches, and so on. And one thing kept popping up that what they needed more of is PR appearances. They needed to be in front of more people. They needed to share their message with more people in my audience or in other people's audiences. And this is really why digital PR is so successful, is you are using other people's audiences. You're giving your message to them.
Okay. Sorry. I got a third grade education. Explain what the world is. Explain what digital PR is.
Absolutely.
So that somebody on like Phoebe's and Friends can understand what digital PR is.
Okay, so if you think of public relations in the traditional sense, you would probably think of big events like conferences and seminars where you would go and attend, you learn something or you get motivated by like Tony Robbins or something, right? So that would be traditional sense. Also, you would use traditional media like traditional newspapers, maybe TV, maybe you would be featured in a commercial and things like that. So that is a traditional world, let's say pre-pandemic. That world still exists, but it works best for local businesses, that brick and mortar businesses. Now that we're transitioning to an online model and a lot of businesses also have an online wing, digital PR becomes a lot more relevant. And that includes digital publications. So let's say most newspapers and magazines now have a website. They are now a digital magazine. It's something that they release onto their website, or maybe they send it to their audience. It could be a blog. For example, even famous companies like Nike or you name it, would have a certain portion of their website dedicated for news and blogs. So being featured on somebody's blog could be considered also publicity. Events, just like we were mentioning with each other, networking events, learning events. For example, we attend sales training and they have breakout rooms. We get to meet other people. We get to talk to them about what we do. We even right now on Zoom, we get to say who we are. We get to put a link to our website. All of this is expanding your digital footprint, as you called it. And it goes on. There are so many events like summits that are specifically designed to be in front of more people. So you have 10 speakers coming to a summit. Each of those speakers is advertising the event to their audience. Now you have 10 times the audience for each of those speakers. So that is digital PR. That's the power of the snowball effect. Podcasts, YouTube shows, Episodes get shared and reshared. YouTube Live, guest posting, even being on Facebook groups, all of this is your digital footprint. And all of this can be used if you know how, and that's what I teach, how to get your business to the next level, how to generate leads.
Okay, I know. Here's something funny and I always switch in and out. Last thing I know, you have a Canadian accent, correct? But
Canadian and a little bit of Ukrainian as well.
okay, but we were talking, tell the world, okay, where you live, because remember when we started talking putting this last week is tell the world where you live and why are you there?
Okay.
Funny.
So I live in sunny Cancun, Mexico, Mayan Riviera, beautiful paradise. Probably the most turquoise ocean you can find in the world, and the white sand and palm trees every day. I'm so grateful for being in such a beautiful place. And it is by choice. I chose this location because having an online business, having a business that you can do from your computer gives you that opportunity. It gives you the blessing of being what I call a digital nomad. It doesn't mean that you have to literally be, homeless and work from a cafe, but it really gives you the freedom to live where you want to live. And even since I've moved to Mexico, I've already lived in 5 to 6 places just to experience different things.
The only thing, can I make fun of you real quick, Julie? If you're in Mexico, why isn't the background the beautiful beaches? I mean, I remember when I was there at some events, not your wall.
I can flip the camera. You're going to see my
Yes,
beautiful pool and palm
that's
trees
what I
and the
wanted to
beautiful
see.
sky.
We want to, by the way, I'm making fun here. For all you people living in Canada that might be watching this in December, I live in Miami, so I know what beautiful weather is. So I want to say, Nanny, for all those people in Canada and New York, can you flip the camera and let us see where you're living?
Well, because this is a laptop, I can't actually easily do that. But how about I'll just maybe show some pictures later. Maybe I'll share my screen later and show some images.
Sorry, I thought that was just funny.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely. And let me add to that. I wanted to go to Portugal, and during the pandemic, it was only open to citizens of European Union. So I'm like, Mexico, it does have a bit of bad rep. But because I used to come here for vacation, I'm like, you know what, at least I'm kind of familiar with the way things are. And it honestly exceeded my expectations in so many ways. I can tell you, don't believe any of the bad rep. Even the crime rates in big cities like Miami and Toronto are 100-fold higher than in a city like Cancun, which is considered really a village compared to some of the major cities like Mexico City and Guadalajara. So don't believe all that bad rep. And yes, of course, there is cartel activity, but they usually go after their own, and it happens like once a year. And one person gets shot. And like, how many running lines do you get on your news of all kinds of?
Can I ask you a crazy question?
Yeah.
How long do you live down in Mexico?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, let me ask you a crazy question. I'm going to make fun of. So now that you're here and you're from Canada, when's the next time you're going to go back to Canada in January? Never.
I'm never going back to Canada unless I have a reason that I can't do something from here.
I have family.
Period.
I'm making fun of a friend of mine, and Angel, I'm going to make fun of her along the same line. She lived in Denver all her life. She now moved to Orlando. And the story, and we speak together on the national business stage. I said, Angel, make sure you bring all your heavy coats, because she grew up in Chicago, right? And you go, oh, no, Albert, I'm going to move to Orlando and I can stay in my shirts. I said, Angel, it's going to get down to 50. Guess what? So now when I talked to her in December, because I'm in Miami, so I can tell you. So now guess what? She went back to Denver to bring some of her old coats. Yeah, it gets to Orlando down to 50. But now that you're a Florida person, now Mexico, that December weather will kill you.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Okay. So now what do you like to do since you're in Mexico? What do you like to do when you're not like changing the world, helping people get out there?
Well, as I said, the pool is right there. It's like right on my window. So I hang out there a lot. The beach where I live right now is a little bit far. I'd say it's about 25 to 30 minutes. So you kind of have to plan for it a little bit. I used to live in a smaller town just south of here, and that was literally a 5-minute drive. So even if I have a meeting a break between a couple of meetings, I can go for a beach walk. So that was a lot more doable. But beaches here in Cancun are specifically a lot more gorgeous because in that town south from here, there was a lot of fresh water coming out from cenotes. So there was underground cenotes that would basically bring fresh water inside the ocean, and the water color would be different. It would be more neutral. Here it's so turquoise bright that it like blinds you. It blinds you. The color is amazing. And just like, for example, on one of the nights last weekend was a full moon, and I was at the beach at night, and the moon was lighting up the bottom of the ocean, and the color of the water was a different shade of turquoise. In the middle of the night, it was like glowing blue, and you could see the bottom. The view was just amazing, and it was like a little bit of a touristy beach, so there were a lot of pirate ships going around on the horizon, lit up with lights, and they did fireworks. So it was absolutely gorgeous. There's so much to do. There's lots of extreme activities if you want to do that, like zip lining and all kinds of things. Lots of cenotes, lots of history. There's Mayan history. Yucatan Peninsula is full of that. So it's really depending what you like. There's so much to do here. I don't think I'll ever end up with nothing to do.
Very cool. Okay, now comes the best part of the show. What are 3 things? Let's do step 1, step 2, so that this will eventually be edited out. So step 1, I'm going to ask you 3 different ways. What's 3 things you can teach us in 45 seconds? So I'm going to ask you 1, 2, 3. Step 1, what's 3 things you could teach us?
Get your backend ready. Get your website, your landing page, and a way to invite people to work with you ready before you start doing any PR.
Okay. 1, why is that important?
Because if you just talk to people about who you are, and even if you're amazing and wonderful, and if they don't have a way to work with you and learn more about you, you lost that opportunity.
Question number 2 of why 3 things you could teach us.
So I teach you how to do that, how to get the back end ready. Then I teach you how to prepare yourself to be on these PR appearances, especially if it's video and audio. It's important to know how, or if it's writing as well. I give you feedback. I train you to be ready.
Okay. Now, step number 3. What's the 3rd tip you can teach us?
Well, I book these appearances for you. So we get your calendar filled once a week. You're on a new show where your audience is target audience, your avatar, who your business can help.
Very cool. Why? One more thing, because sometimes my clients don't understand this. Define what an avatar is?
Yeah, so it's basically your ideal clients. Like I give an example of Home Depot, where you go in and you see hard hats and work boots as their, images all throughout the store, and then the color is orange, right? You don't see pink flowers. So their main avatar is a working man, or a man working in construction or doing renovations. Of course, they will help women, but that is sort of like other outside of their avatar. Their avatar is a man who is able to do renovations. So that's who they go after. And the same with any business. You go after your avatar. Of course, you're going to attract other people who are similar to that or have a need for your services, but you need to know who's primarily a type of person that you will be able to make the most impact with.
By the way, I go to Home Depot a lot, and I never realized, now that you said that, right, it's orange. I never realized, right, because orange is the color, like if you do construction, you have to wear.
Yeah, and look at their images. It's all tools and, it's something that appeals to a man.
Okay, now we're almost to the end of this. Please give us some final thoughts and how I can start to work with you.
Absolutely. I invite everybody to book a call. I will take a look at what you're currently doing for your lead generation. And I can tell you one thing, digital PR bypasses a lot of other lead generation methods. For example, paid advertising. Paid advertising gets shoved into people's face. They don't want to see it. Okay. Then maybe they find it interesting. Maybe they will get a hold of you or click on that link. Then you have to develop a relationship. It's a very unnatural, hard way of gaining business relationships. It's a much easier way to do what we're doing right now. We're being ourselves. We're talking. People get to know who I am, who you are. And if they have a need for this service, they already know what it's like to be with us. They already know our personality. They already know if they're going to click with us. They can go to my website, digitalpr.works. check it out, see if it's something that's going to work for them or not. And they can book a call where we're going to have a conversation. So it bypasses the awareness stage and it bypasses the next stage of, I don't want to get into too much of a business lingo, but you have a customer journey, right? So the customer journey, you make it so much easier when you lead with who you are and what you do than shoving a product into people's face. So digital PR is free. Yes, of course, my services are not, but I do a lot of free tips and workshops, and I teach people a lot of things for free. But if you decide to work with me, it is a little bit of an investment, but I promise you that you will see a snowball effect in your business. Your pipeline will be full of leads that love you and want to work with you.
One more question. Do you have a lead magnet? Like I have Taxman to 26786, or go to taxmanprofits.com if you can't text it from a. So what is your lead magnet?
Well, right now I'm offering a free consultation. It's usually a $97 call. So I do a strategy, a PR strategy, or at least we do like 2-3 tips depending on the time that we have.
How can my team and people get a hold
On
of
my
it?
website, it's right there in digitalpr.works. You get to see 2 different options. So the first option is to have that call. So the fee will be waived when you mention Albert.
Thank you, everybody. This is the Taxman Show. I worked with our beautiful guest, Ms. Julie. Like I always say, sharing is caring. We're on multiple channels. And if you're on Facebook, if you're watching us on Facebook, always put comments below. And thank you. And we'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye. Yep. How do I stop this?